birdies, I'm Sunshine Flying, you can call me Tia, and today we are back in Strangerville. Not to play the Strangerville gameplay, a thing I still haven't done even though I bought the pack, but no, today we are celebrating America's independence with probably the silliest thing I have ever built. And in planning this build, I just kept referring to it as my Murrica trailer. Now, if you are familiar with some of the culture surrounding like hardcore Americans, you know that some people will, throw on a bit of an accent and just say Murrica. And there's certain connotations with that, I feel like, and I want to preface this by saying I'm really not trying to play into any specific stereotype that might hurt anyone. That being said, there's kind of this stereotypical vibe with some trailers that you get, and I really wanted to try to imitate that because the folks who live in those, they tend to be pretty patriotic, maybe, they're outside a lot, so they don't always take care of the interior of their home, or they spend their money on things like camping or trailers and things like that rather than fixing up or upkeeping their home. So that being said, this is a pretty stereotypical build, and I debated about whether or not to post it, but my channel's pretty small and there's a bit of humor behind it. So I hope that you will all just kind of have a couple laughs as you watch this unfold and just kind of enjoy it. And to those of you who also live in the United States like I do, happy Independence Day. I hope you have a really awesome day and are respectful with your celebrations. I'm sure a lot of you are. My community is so kind and warm towards others, and that makes me so happy. So I hope we will keep that going, and especially those of you in other countries, I hope you get a nice little laugh at this. It's kind of filling a lot of stereotypes here. But it was really fun to do, and it is so different than pretty much anything else I have ever done. And I couldn't resist doing this, and I really hope you like it. I hope you get a good laugh out of it, and so let's just get into it. I've already sort of set up the exterior, had that little curved roof, and got the whole kitchen area set up. The kitchen will change. But basically this is a tiny little trailer home, that it's been around for a while. It's been around the block. It's seen a couple things. And now it's just a home for a single sim. And it's kind of a mess. I mean, we're not really going to clutter it up till the end because I like to save opening debug for the very end. But basically, they've accumulated a lot of junk over the years, and it stacks up here in the living room with their tiny TV, their mail, their clutter, all of that good stuff. And we're just gonna clutter this place up. We're gonna clutter the heck out of it. And honestly, I can always use a little more practice on my cluttering, so it was a good thing for me. And then I also put to use a lot of objects and items that I don't often use. Some of that being like wall decorations, some of that being the like cracks and stains and scratches in the walls, that sort of stuff. Because this place has seen better days. It's old, it's messy, it's a little crumbly, and so, but really it's meant to kind of fulfill this exaggerated stereotype. And yeah, maybe there are actual people who live like this, but I really did try to like humorously exaggerate it beyond the norm. So this isn't meant to target anyone. This isn't meant to hurt anyone. This is meant to be funny. And so what we're doing here is just continuing to work on this teensy tiny little house. We've got that kind of DIY looking sink with a mirror just kind of leaning off of it towards the window, kind of roughed in bathroom here. And one thing that I did that I haven't done in a while, or really ever, is putting shelving in the bathroom. Usually I just kind of throw in a sink with a vanity or that towel shelf and call it a day. And so this was new for me, doing this kind of over the toilet shelf. And also I want to say I have not play tested everything in this home. So take it with a grain of salt. That toilet might not even work with that shelf there, but it might. So it's really just a matter of testing it out, seeing what works. And I mean, I could also go in and do that too, but I did not before uploading this video and the build to the gallery. So take it all with a grain of salt. I will say it was also really nice to have the objects and items from City Living with a little more grungy carpet and grungier used appliances and kitchen stuff. You'll see that I used a lot of that. And otherwise, I'm just squeezing in a lot of cheap stuff and a lot of clutter everywhere in this build. And that's just kind of the theme of it. The person who's lived here has been here for a long time. And they accumulated a lot of junk. And so we're really just, you know, putting stuff all over the walls, and just kind of making it definitely look lived in. And so it was, like I said before, it was a lot of fun, and it actually pushed me to try a lot of things I hadn't done before and use a lot of objects I hadn't used before. So a lot of this clutter, I used like 1 or 2 pieces, but never like piled up as much as I did here. I also used a lot of like furniture and like posters for the walls that I don't usually use. So it definitely pushed me outside my comfort zone and really made me think about, you know, how much each item cost, which we also know in The Sims isn't always accurate. There's some stuff that costs a lot, but when I look at it, I'm like, that's exactly what they'd have in this kind of home. But I really just tried to play it up for laughs, for fun. So we've got like mismatched curtains, kind of like a crooked rug there, and one wall decoration that I find that I actually swap in. It actually came from the Batu pack, but it's the closest I could get to having like a deer head on the wall. And so I do put that in there as well, and I really thought it added a nice little touch. And I kind of wish we had more kind of like rustic kind of hunter vibes, or like something like that. I'd almost wished that this cottage living pack had been more of like a, I love the animals and like the semi-farming aspect of it, but I wish kind of instead of the countryside or farming, it had been more of a like southern US kind of a thing. I thought it would be really cool if we could have like a ranch and we could have, you know, that deer head on the wall or something. Make it like fulfill our Chip and Joanna Gaines fantasies kind of a thing. Because I really do love the decoration style they do, that kind of southern charm thing. A lot of wall signs that have words on them. Even if it's in Simlish, I think it would have been really cool. So that's still something I'm hoping for one day, and you know, if nothing else, I'll just hunt down a good old CC pack for that. So I don't, you'll also notice I don't use CC in my games, but that's not to say I never will. I have played with the idea of doing a very specific theme for a build and using CC to kind of complement what we get in the game already. So let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see or something you think would be cool for me to do. I'd be happy to do that. I don't think I'd keep CC regularly, but it might be a fun special little build to do. But now that we're on the exterior of the home, I tried to take some inspiration from the different homes that were around this one, but also just make it a mess like everything else is. And you'll see I used a lot of clutter in the kitchen, and the clutter in the yard is going to be absolutely absurd. But like I said, the people who've lived here have been here for a very long time. They've had a lot of opportunities for stuff to just like gather up, collect, accumulate. And honestly, I don't think they're always there and using this place. I think they're often places like the beach, the lake, at their family's house, at a friend's house, out at the bar, that sort of thing. So it's also keeping in mind that they're not often here and taking care of their place, but there's all kinds of crap in their yard. They've got trash, they've got dirt, they've got pizza boxes, they've got dishes. They just like accumulating things, having stuff. And I'm not saying that's a purely American thing, but I do think that it's kind of fitting in a funny way for what we're doing here. So just throwing a bunch of clutter around the yard, some flamingos as well. I think I thought about putting lights up, but didn't end up doing lights in the end, but we could surprise me. That also reminds me, you'll notice that sometimes when I'm doing these voiceovers this month, I don't always remember everything that I have in these builds, and that's because I'm trying to work ahead. If you do not already know, I will be on vacation for the last week of July and therefore not at my computer. I'm going to be camping with my husband and some of his family members, and so we will be off the grid, having fun, enjoying the outdoors, enjoying each other's company, and just hanging out. And so I will not be streaming on Twitch at all that week, but my goal is to still have content to post on YouTube and Twitter queued up before I go. So I'm just sort of working ahead. And so this video I actually recorded, I think in the middle of June, probably on like the 15th or so. And I'm doing voiceover on the 26th, and you'll see this posted closer to the 4th of July. So I am starting to kind of get ahead on my project and work ahead, and that also means I do voiceovers for builds, probably 2, 3, almost sometimes 4 at a time. And so I don't always remember everything in every build. So please bear with me with that. I promise it is not a permanent thing. And I hope that you are still enjoying all this content I'm putting out. If you do have requests or ideas, please do drop them in the chat below. I have seen your suggestions and comments already and am taking those into account as I work on more content. So stay tuned for that. It's just because of all of the lead time that I've given on a lot of these. You'll see your feedback from like mid-June appearing probably mid-July right now. So just bear with me, and I promise we'll be seeing improvements very soon. So just continuing to clutter up the front yard here. We are getting closer to the end of the video, but there's a lot of stuff that they probably have in this yard, and it doesn't always all line up or make sense. And again, I don't know how many of these items are actually able to be interacted with at this point. I have not play tested everything, but it is here. It is filling up their front lawn. It's probably an eyesore for the neighbors, even though pretty much everyone in this little kind of pod, their homes have seen better days. And then, of course, no build can be complete without an American flag. So I did go into the gallery and download one, and I'm very pleased that I was able to find one pretty quickly. And then we're just putting some lights on the build as well. So I'm really happy with how this build came together, with how everything kind of fell into place, and I just think it's a really kind of funny and just exaggerated view of what some people picture when they picture like super patriotic Americans. But like I said, this is not meant to target or make fun of anyone. It was meant to be a funny exaggeration. I hope you enjoyed it and did not take offense. If you did, please let me know. I never want to hurt anyone. But I hope you found some amusement in this. I hope you have a really wonderful Independence Day if you are in the US and celebrate it. I know not everybody does. They celebrate independence on other days, and that is also wonderful. I'm glad it's finally acknowledged. And I hope you have a wonderful month of July. I know a lot of countries have celebrations on this month. And as always, I will be back next week with a renovation and a build, and I hope to chat with you all in the comments in the meantime. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye!